Have you ever stopped and wondered what's really going on inside your food? I mean, really looked at it? Today, we're going to dive into one of the most common ingredients on the entire planet, something you probably eat every single day. We're talking a journey that starts right there on your kitchen counter and goes all the way down to the tiny cells inside your body. You've been there, right? You're washing rice, getting ready to cook, and the water just turns all cloudy and white. And someone, maybe your mom or a friend, says something like, "See, that's all the starch. It's what makes it sticky." It's just a common bit of kitchen wisdom, but you know what? It's also our very first clue in a really cool scientific mystery.
So what is that cloudy stuff, really? Why is it there? And what does it actually have to do with making rice sticky or bread fluffy or potatoes so satisfying? Well, that's the big question we're going to unpack right now. Okay, first things first, let's figure out what this mystery substance actually is and maybe where else it's hiding out in your kitchen. So that cloudy white stuff, yep, it's starch. And at its most basic, starch is a carbohydrate. You can just think of it as pure fuel. Its entire job, from a biological point of view, is to provide energy. Simple as that. And it is everywhere. It's the whole reason we eat staple foods like bread and pasta and rice and potatoes. These things are the energy powerhouses for diets all over the world, and starch is the star of the show. And this brings us right back to our original mystery with the rice. See, the reason the water gets cloudy is because starch doesn't actually dissolve in cold water. It just floats around in it. You're literally watching thousands of tiny little starch granules wash right off the surface of the rice. So we're pretty sure starch is in these foods, but how can we, prove it? Well, let's do a classic, super simple chemistry test that you could do in your own kitchen. It's called the iodine test, and it's so easy. You just need a little piece of the food you want to test, like a slice of potato or a bit of bread, and a few drops of iodine. What we're looking for here is a really dramatic color change. And here's what you'll see. If there's no starch in your sample, the iodine just stays its normal brownish, orange-yellow color. Nothing happens. But if starch is there, bam, it immediately turns this deep, dark blue-black color. It's a simple but super powerful way to see it with your own eyes, no doubt about it. Okay, so we know what starch is, and we know how to find it. But what does it actually look like? I mean, on a molecular level. For this, we have to zoom way, way, way in. Now, the scientific term for what starch is a natural polymer. And I know, that word might sound a little complicated, maybe a little intimidating, but I promise you the idea behind it is actually incredibly simple. Think about it like this. A polymer is basically just a super long chain made of the same single unit, linked together over and over and over again. Like a necklace made of thousands of identical little beads. Starch is just nature's version of that. Which, of course, leads to the next logical question, right? If starch is the necklace, what's the individual bead? What's that one molecule that's repeating itself to build this massive chain? Well, the answer is glucose. This is a super fundamental type of sugar that plants make using sunlight. It's basically the main energy currency for almost all life on Earth, including for every single one of your cells right now. So this is the big reveal. The whole secret to starch is just this. It is nothing more than thousands and thousands of glucose molecules all chained together. That's it. When a plant has extra energy it needs to save for later, it just links up all its glucose molecules into these long starch chains for easy storage. All right, so now that we get the structure, let's talk about why it's so important. I mean, what's the big deal about starch for both the plants that make it and for us, the people who eat it? For a plant, starch is basically a packed lunch. Seriously, it's a really stable, compact way to store all that energy-rich glucose they make from sunlight. They pack this starch away into their seeds, their roots, their fruits, which is exactly why things like rice grains and potatoes are just loaded with the stuff. And what about us? Well, our bodies are amazing. We do the exact reverse. When we eat starch, our digestive system gets to work, breaking apart all those long chains back into individual glucose molecules. That glucose then gets into our bloodstream, and it provides the energy that powers, everything we do. Thinking, moving, breathing, all of it. But its job doesn't stop there. Beyond just being a fundamental energy source for us, the food industry has found some other really clever ways to use starch. It's used as a thickener to give soups and sauces that nice texture, and get this, it's also the starting point for creating all sorts of sweeteners. That's right. By using enzymes to break down those long glucose chains, basically doing what our stomach does, but in a giant factory vat, food companies can turn starches from things like corn into the syrups and sweeteners that are added to tons of processed foods. And this, right here, is where the science becomes really, really relevant to our modern lives. The huge amount of these starch-based sweeteners in our food supply has led scientists to actively research what all of this is doing to our health long-term. It's a huge ongoing area of study. So we're left with this one final thought to chew on. We've seen that starch is this amazing natural energy source that literally powers our cells, but it's also the raw material for industrially processed sweeteners. So knowing that this one simple molecule can play both of those roles, what does that mean for the choices we make about our diet every single day?